And we are live with episode 11 of Watch What Now, the show that talks about the good, the bad, and everything in between. Usually, this is a journey of my co host, I guess you would say her little walk into the horror movies, but every now and then we need something to cleanse the palate, but we still want it to be a movie where we're asking ourselves, what the hell did we just watch? And speaking of co-hosts, I am Eric from Hey Internet. Eric here. With me, as always, is my wonderful co-host and someone I consider a good friend, an Avian Hall of Famer, a former radio show host, and someone who woke up this morning. She's lucky she didn't have a cat puke on her. Miss Melissa Hill. Melissa, how are you?
Hello, I am fine. Yes, I woke up with a very fluffy kitty sitting on my face.
Wow, this is a family show, Melissa.
I
And you can hear that those gigglings on the other side of the room. Coming back, thank goodness, after that disastrous special guest appearance where I did not make him watch The Room. My lovely co-host did. Today's episode is actually his idea. We are here with Mr. Neil Preston. Neil, thank you for returning.
You're very welcome.
Woo!
Can't wait. I've been looking forward to this.
Yes, it's always a blast having you, Neil. And we'll just get right to it. Today's episode, and per Neil's request, we are watching something that I haven't seen. Honestly, I'm going to say this is the first time I watched it because I watched it once 20 years ago and I remembered nothing. Today we are watching the classic "This Is Spinal Tap" from the late great Rob Reiner, and this is one thing, but this is one of those movies that I only know bits. I only knew bits and pieces of. These go up to 11. The stuff with the
hmm
dwarves and things like that. But this is one that I'm glad I sat down and watched yesterday because if 20 years ago, I probably wouldn't appreciate the humor as much as I would now as an adult. And Neil, if you want to go into it, why exactly did you decide to choose this one for your glamorous return to
well,
Madam Melissa show?
well, as glamorous as my return is, it's not quite as glamorous as the movie Spinal Tap. Now, I've got to say, tip of the hat to Rob Reiner. I
Yes.
didn't realize that the first directorial effort. That's just a little sidebar, but from the first time I ever watched this movie, and I've seen it countless times, it is as close. The characters in it are as close to me as anyone I've ever known.
Hmm.
Being in the rock and roll business for my whole life, it is frighteningly realistic to me. Um, and when I found out a long time ago that the everything is there was no script, everything is improvised,
Hmm.
which made it even more incredible. I have lived with these people, not the actors in the movie, but the characters they portray. I've
Hmm.
lived with them, I've worked with them, I've played with them, I've had arguments with them, I've photographed them, and it is, for me, frighteningly and humorously real. So between this and Almost Famous being another side of my coin, so to speak,
Hmm.
you can't beat Spinal Tap for it's so real to me. It's crazy.
I was surprised at how much fun this was. I don't know how you guys took your notes because this was hard for me because what I loved about this movie is it is filmed as a documentary. Rob Reiner is playing a character named Marty DeBurge, I
Marty
think is
DeBurgi.
DeBurgi.
It's Marty DeBurgi, which I believe to be a play on Marty Scorsese. And it's funny because I remember Cameron and I once had a
Hmm.
discussion about how long do you have to know Martin Scorsese before you can call him Marty? I know it's a stupid little thing, but this is the kind of stuff we talk about. What can I say? So Marty DeBurgi is like definitely based an homage to Martin Scorsese.
And what it is, it's a documentary where Marty is following the band Spinal Tap, And first off, I love the look. I guess like they came on the 60s. This takes place a little around 84 when it came out.
Mhm.
And we are following these these three fools. Um, we have Michael McKean is I love their names. David St. Hubbins, and then Christopher Guest is Nigel Tufnell, and then Harry Shearer is Derek Smalls.
Derek Smalls, yeah.
And first of all, I just love the looks. I love how they are hair metal, but they're also just too dorky to be hair metal, if that makes sense.
Well, you know, the Nigel Tufnell's look is absolutely based on Jeff Beck, without question. The other two are a little more generic, but if you look at any photograph of Jeff Beck, almost, you know, between 1966 and the day he died, it's the look of Christopher Guest's look is definitely Jeff Beck. All with the hair, it's perfect. And how they came up with those accents, I don't know, but they are spot on. So
I'd have to say that Christopher Guest as Nigel is probably my favorite character of the three. How about you, Melissa? Did you have a favorite of the three characters?
Well, first I want to say, when this movie came out, I thought that it was a movie about getting a spinal tap.
It kind of is.
So I never saw the movie growing up. The first time I watched the movie was when I met, and I don't know how many years ago that was that we saw that he showed me the movie. I don't really forget, he's in the room, but yeah. So watching it for the first time, I was an adult, and I do remember laughing hysterically because at that time, having had become friends with Neil, and I did recognize a lot of these people. I couldn't give you names like he can, but
right.
But my favorite character, I think, was definitely the Christopher Guest character.
Yeah.
He's Nigel. Is he Nigel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is Nigel. Yeah.
He's my favorite. He's my favorite character.
And
I don't know, although I did have some sort of, I'm a little bit drawn to the keyboardist.
He was fun. He was fun. And
the quiet one in the corner wearing the collar. That's what it looked like. He was wearing a colander on his head, you know. Yep. Being a space alien or something. Anyway, I'm surrounded with dogs, so.
No, you're fine. And the thing is, when I was taking notes like this, I sent a text to Melissa and I said I didn't know how you guys were going to be taking notes. It's going to be hard for me to do so because the way this is filmed like a documentary following the band Spinal Tap a lot of it is just like clips of this, then it goes to clips of this, and like most documentaries. But a lot of this is also, I found out right away, visual gags. It's not just watching them play and be buffoons and stuff like that. A lot of it is visual gags, and I knew right away because this movie starts up. We meet Marty, and he's describing who Spinal Tap is, and then it cuts to the band setting up the amps and the roadies, and then the fans and the groupies, and they're all cheering. And then we cut immediately to the driver is looking for them, the limo driver, but he's holding up a sign that says Spinal Tap. P-A-P. So I'm like, okay, this is really setting the tone for this movie, and I had a blast from beginning to end because we cut to an interview and they're talking about how they had to change their names because they were the originals, but then someone else was the originals, so they changed themselves to the new originals, but then they broke up and went back. That's the type of humor like I knew I was getting into, and I just couldn't wait to keep on going because Neil, if you said this is all or most of it is all improv and ad lib, oh my God, this is one of those movie sets I would just like to be on.
Oh my God, I would have killed to be the still photographer on this thing. In fact, I probably would have gotten fired because I probably would have laughed during too many takes and gotten fired. But when we just watched it again, and there are certain things that stuck out to me that I never really that I don't remember reacting to before. For instance, when Rob Reiner first talks about Spinal Tap and he says, they released 15 albums in 17 years. I mean, that alone is a gem.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie you like, put down the phone and watch, because they're talking about all the talking to the different band members, and they talk about how their original drummer died in a gardening accident, and then they had a replacement drummer who choked on someone else's vomit, not his own vomit. They made sure to point that out. It was someone else's vomit.
But Nigel Tuff says that an unfortunate gardening accident, and I think Michael McKean's, which it's probably better left unsolved.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of buried in the sound, but I picked up on that.
Yeah.
And then when they talk about, I think it's David St. Hubbins, who's Michael McKean, talks about meeting the club, the Electric Banana.
Yes.
Well, there used to be a club in New York called the Electric Circus, which when I was a teenager, I'd been to a couple of times. So obviously Electric Banana is an homage to the Electric Circus.
Yeah, I wonder how much research actually went into just like the rock life, the rock and roll life, and put into this, because just little bits and pieces like that, with the club names and stuff like that, just makes me wonder how much research was actually done. And then how, again, like I said, I'd love to have been a fly on the wall watching them perform, how many outtakes they might have been, or how many different takes. And this is what Rob decided to use, because this one's funnier than that.
Yeah, well, you know what? They're probably close to my age. Wouldn't you say, Melissa? The real Christopher Guest and Michael McKean, Harry Shearer, they're probably early 70s, right?
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, definitely.
So the research, if you've watched enough heavy metal or metal, it's kind of your research. And if you've been backstage with any of these bands, I mean, it's like I keep saying, it's frighteningly real to me.
And one thing that I really love when we're not talking about the band is this movie is full of a bunch of fun side characters. Like, one of my favorite scenes is when we meet Bruno Kirby as the pissed off limo driver.
Yeah.
And he's up front. He's up front with Marty, and he's trying to be part of the conversation, and he really wants to talk to the band. And I think it's Nigel who just does the dick move, where he just kind of looks at him and he pushes the button, and it puts the window up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Bruno Kirby, he's still pissed, and he's still just venting to Marty, like, because we see Bruno driving, then we have a couple scenes in between, and then Bruno's back to complaining. So
yeah, but he's perfect New Yorker though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a lot of fun. And then, we had the record party, and I didn't know Fran Drescher was in this. She's like the record executive, I believe.
Well, that okay, her character is very near and dear to my heart, because my first girlfriend, may she rest in peace, when I moved to LA in 1971, was a very well-known PR agent called Bobby Cowan. And Bobby Fleckman, as Fran Drescher plays, is essentially my ex-girlfriend, Bobby Cowan. And I mean, now I don't know if Fran ever met Bobby or Rob Reiner ever met Bobby, but it's scary. It's scary. It's like the same person. So it's kind of difficult for me to watch her, although she's on the money. And Bobby represented a lot of different bands, Cream, Creedence Clearwater. She's part of a big PR agency called Gibson Stromberg, and her uncle was Warren Cowan from big PR agency Warren Cowan. So maybe there was some research done there, but the Bobby Fleckman character is spot on.
What about Sir Eaton Hogg? That's my favorite name of the show, actually.
Yeah. Well, he plays the head of the record company. I don't know any heads of any record companies that have already been knighted. So that was a little strange. Although these days everyone's getting knighted. I mean, Roger Daltrey just got knighted, yet Pete Townsend has not been knighted. Brian May's been knighted, but Roger Taylor has not been knighted. And they're passing them around like Milky Ways at a 10-year-old birthday party.
When speaking of Brian May, when they talk about how one of their drummers died in a bizarre gardening accident, I'm sorry, it made me think of Brian May.
Well, yes,
When
it was
didn't
it's
he
very
injure himself doing some major gardening?
yeah, something like that. And but he's very of the earth, and very uh, animal rescue cognizant, and uh, yeah, I don't remember what the accident was. I don't know if it was ever public. So.
It was public.
Okay, there we go.
Yes, I'll leave it at that. But yes, it was public, or else I would not have mentioned it.
And then let's not forget the girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
Janine.
Janine.
Yeah,
yeah.
Janine.
She,
Now I don't know who played that character, but boy, have I known that girl.
she looked like when we were watching it, I was trying to think. She looked so familiar, but then I just thought maybe she just looked like not Martha Quinn, Nina Blackwell from
Yeah,
MTV.
Nina Blackwood. Yeah, and
A little bit, yeah.
I gotta say that this one thing. In the movie, she's very into astrology and astrological signs and everything. Well, in 1970 something or other, 72 or 73, Cameron and I were on the road with the band Yes, and the bass player Chris Squires had, I think it was his wife, and she used to say, "Well, let's go ask Fishy." And we're like, "Who the hell is Fishy?" Well, Chris was a Pisces. No, it was a Pisces. So it's the nickname Fishy, and it took us like a week to figure out who the hell she was referring to. But that girl, she wasn't blonde, she was brunette, but reminds me of the Janine character in Spinal Tap.
Yeah, we'll
Real
just
life.
go ahead. I'm just like I said, I just took little bullet points, and one of the things I put, was the Janine character, and I just put how Janine is taking over the band, because she's with Saint Hubbins and stuff like this, and I knew it was not going to end well, and I just love how they're trying to reinvent themselves and keep themselves new, and she was wanting them to, I don't know, like get into costumes of the different astrological signs and stuff like that, and I'm just saying, and I was just thinking to myself, this is really, really not going to end well. And I loved how she just nailed that stereotypical. I don't know if it was supposed to be like kind of like a play on Yoko Ono breaking up the Beatles, because that's how she kind of got Nigel to quit because of all her interference. But she was spot on playing that.
Go ahead.
I was saying she was pretty spot on of that girlfriend that shouldn't be there.
I mean, I would love to know if she was British or not. I mean, everyone in that movie's British accent was spot on, and we know that the three members of Spinal Tap are American.
Right.
We know Fran Drescher is American. Well, of course, she wasn't playing a Brit, but it's if I close my eyes, it's like every band I ever worked for, it's how they sounded.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And we jump from this is my favorite little I guess you would say montage, because first off, we're thrown right into them at concert, and they're playing the Big Bottom. It's all about women with giant asses. And I was thinking to myself, as we see more and more concert footage of these guys being so over the top with devil heads in the background and stuff like that. Take a shot every time we see a crotch shot of these guys. Like you get zoomed right in there. I'm like, it was so much fun and just so over the top and just so blatantly goofball. Sexist. Very sexist and goofball. It's just, how could I not fall in love with these three dorks? You know what I mean?
It's one of the notes that I wrote was the crotch shots. Was all the crotch shots and how serious they were. The Big Bottom song, I was expecting to be more like Queen, Big Bottom Girls.
Fat Bottom Girls.
Fat Bottom Girls.
Well,
sorry.
You know what? Fat Bottom Girls, I think, was released 79 or 80. So that would be pre-Spinal Tap. So that could be an homage to Fat Bottom Girls. but the lyrics, how can I leave this behind?
Yeah.
That's still one of my favorites.
I wonder who wrote the songs that were in this movie.
I believe Christopher Guest and Michael McKean.
Yeah,
did.
all three actors and Rob Reiner, they were the ones that had the written by credits.
And apparently they did play as well.
Yes, I got it right here on Wikipedia, but it also said it in the credits. Music by Guest, McKean, and Shearer, which I thought was just so amazing. Like you could tell that's really Michael McKean singing. You could tell because there isn't much difference in his speaking voice and his singing voice. But if they're really playing the instruments, I got to give them credit because they're all crotch shots and devil inside. The concerts were pretty entertaining for what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and I loved Harry Shearer playing the double-necked bass.
Yes.
The first concert, I've never seen, to this day in my life, I've never seen anyone play a double-necked bass.
And it's so big, it's probably twice his size, and he's got these suspenders, but they look like S&M suspenders because you got these gigantic metal circles right where his nipples are, and you could see when he's playing it, he's a little hunched over. You could tell it's a little too heavy for him. So just these little bits and pieces, and this is what I mean. You got to have the phone down. You got to be watching what's on screen. Just these little things that they add to the characters makes it so much more fun.
Well, any double neck guitar is very heavy, and there's a very, 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 very famous guitar player who's famous for playing a double neck, and I picked it up once, and that guitar is heavy.
He was in.
You can figure out who it is.
Cheap Trick, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to say.
Oh no, Rick. He had 5. He had a guitar with 5 necks, but that.
Jeez.
But the Jimmy's red double neck, the famous guitar, is it's heavy, and you play that long enough, you're gonna have back problems,
Okay. Oh, so it seems like that character must have been based a lot off of Jimmy Page, even like when he does his guitar solos, right?
Oh, you mean? Well, I was talking about the double neck bass, which was Harry Shearer.
I was just watching the movie.
Yeah, but no, I mean the Nigel. It's more Jeff Beck than anybody else. Which, of course, both Jimmy and Jeff Beck were in the Yardbirds, as we all know. So
right, okay, got it. Yes. See, this is why you're here, and I'm just typing.
Hey, and like I said, I'm just a fly on the wall. And then we get to, this is probably honestly one of, it's not because we at the end of every episode or when we get to, we always talk about our favorite scene. This would be my second favorite scene, is when Marty is talking to Nigel and going and seeing his different guitar collections. And then this was after we had the little montage of their different albums and how bad the critics were talking about them. Like my favorite is when they were going
shit sandwich.
Shark sandwich, 2 words, shit sandwich. That was the review for that. And Nigel was pissed off at catering because the bread was too small for the meat. You can't fold the salami because it just won't be right, type of thing.
No.
And
Melissa loved that.
Those little things with Nigel, like I rewound the movie twice just to watch the scene with him at catering. That's why Nigel is my favorite. And especially this scene, because this is the scene everybody knows. This is the part I remember, because when he's talking to Marty about how the amps, everything goes up to 10, and when you need to crank it up a little bit, these go to 11. And then Marty's like, well, why don't you just make everything, louder and then make 10 louder? He says, but just deadpan. No, these go to 11. You know what I mean?
No. His deadpan is classic, by the way.
Oh,
best deadpan ever in the history of movie making, if you ask me.
I think there was one scene where like he was just showing off all the guitars and this and that, and then Marty was actually pointing at it, and Nigel was like, "Don't touch it." Well, I was just pointing at it. Well, don't even point at it.
And by the way, I believe the guitars that held up and showed, not the one that was on the but I think those were all Les Pauls. So those are the real things.
And he had his room was completely filled. He even had a guitar, I think, that he made sure to point out that he's never played because it still had the tag on it. He's never played it, stuff like that.
I know this movie was a lot improvisational, right?
Yeah.
But I wonder if any of these actors went method and like, did they already know how to play music? Did they already know how to play these instruments? They, go to rock school, so to speak. Sorry, I'm.
Well, possibly. That's
I'm
a good
dissecting the
question.
movie like it's for real.
No, that's fine. It'd be interesting, because I mean they got to have some talent. I mean, how rare would it be that three people in the same movie can just pick up, the
Right.
instruments and play like they did? Because, like I said, I think they're pretty good for being comedians. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're really talented
I,
for what they did.
I'll,
Well, Neil,
here's a story. Here's a story that I don't tell that often. But I had an assignment to photograph Spinal Tap for a magazine. This is way after the movie came out, or a few years after the movie came out. And I went. This was in L.A. And I went to the Continental Hyatt House, aka the Riot House, very famous rock and roll hotel. And I get sent up to a room, and the three of them are there in costume, and I had to photograph them as Spinal Tap. And we went up to the roof where the pool was, and we did all these great pictures. And they never broke character.
That's
They
awesome.
introduced themselves to me, Nigel Tufnell, David St. Hubbins. It was hysterical. And then I wrapped the shoot, and I was in the lobby, and my assistant was loading the equipment into the car, and the three of them came down and reintroduced themselves to me as Michael McKean, Christopher Guest, and Harry Shearer, as if they had never met me before. It was talk about method. I mean, and that really, really happened. And I was hoping I had some of the pictures on my phone, but I didn't. I'll post some later or something.
Well, when you were working on Almost Famous, didn't those actors go to rock school to learn how to play their instruments?
Yeah, well, especially Billy Crudup. Well, two of the guys in the band were already in rock bands. Mark Kozlik, who played the drummer in Stillwater, and I can't remember his last name. He played Silent Ed, the drummer.
He's from the My Morning Jacket.
No, I don't think so. Okay. No, I don't believe so. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but it's been a while. But Peter Frampton was hired and basically taught Billy Crudup how to play. And band Stillwater did play at the wrap party. Poorly, yet they played.
Another scene that we're getting to is now they realize how bad their popularity is going down because they're in a hotel, and I think this is after they've had one or two concerts just flat out canceled on them. Mm-hmm. And I love the scene where they're trying to get into the hotel and they thought they had 7 suites, but it was actually 1 suite for 7 people. They all had to share type of stuff, and I think Harry Shearer walks in to get Michael McKean because it's your old stuff that's on the radio. You know what I mean? Like it was an old jingle or something he made, and it was kind of sad because they're all just sitting there and he's proud and happy and he's like reminiscing, and then the DJ literally says from the Where Are They Now files of Spinal Tap.
I know, I felt bad for them. I was like, oh
yeah.
Before that, aren't they talking about they talk about the album?
And yes, Smell the Glove. It's too
offensive. The album cover. And my favorite line of the movie is such a fine line between stupid and clever.
Yes, yeah. I think what was it? It was because it was a woman and she was all in S&M gear and on leashes and stuff
with a collar on. Yeah.
Yeah. And no one wanted to buy it. No one would buy it. The record company said, this is sexist and degrading. But they're like, but if it was you three wearing all that out, those outfits and stuff, that's what would have sold. And then it comes to another great scene is where they get the vinyl and everything, and it's just completely black. There is no cover. There's no track listing on the back.
Black.
Yeah. There's no track listing on the back or anything.
I liked it. It kind of reminded me of the Metallica, the Black Album.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Well, I believe it's an homage, obviously, to the White Album, the Beatles.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, look at Sabrina Carpenter's new album cover. It's her in a dog collar with a leash with a guy's arm. I mean, it's almost exactly what they talk about.
Mm-hmm. Here's one thing I wanted to ask.
When did you?
Yeah. Go ahead, Melissa.
When did you become a Sabrina Carpenter fan? When did you become a Sabrina Carpenter fan?
I'm not, but I can't ignore the cover.
Oh, okay.
Here's one thing I wanted to ask you, Neil, about, because you've seen a lot of this stuff in your real life. Another favorite scene of mine. I didn't write down the song that they were playing, but they're coming out of these. It looks like these gigantic pods from Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and you gotta perform even when something doesn't go right. So you have Nigel walks out and St. Hubbins walks out, but poor Harry Shearer, he can't get out of his pod at all, and it's hilarious. There's one scene where he's banging on it while playing. He's still playing while he's in it, and you can see the two other guys are arguing with each other, and he gets an arm out, but has to pull it back in. One of the roadies has to get like an acetylene torch to try to open it up.
Acetylene torch, and he hits it with a hammer.
Yeah, he hits it with a hammer, and as he gets out, they're getting back in, and the song's over. Yeah. How often has that happened to you when just like a gimmick that like the band is wanting to do just goes shit? Just goes to shit.
Nothing. I've seen a couple of things. Nothing as elaborate as that. Do. First of all, I got to say, I know it's a minor character, but the guy who played the roadie is fantastic. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you could put that guy on stage with any band ever. I've seen curtains fail to rise or drop. I remember photographing Cher, of all people. I think it was on New Year's Eve, 1999 into 2000. And where was I? Melissa, you might remember. It was in Canada or something. And her whole show was on tape. And they started the tape before she was on stage.
Oh, geez.
And the curtain came down and she wasn't there. They didn't start the show over. She just magically showed up. I've seen that happen a couple of times where scrims or screens didn't fall properly. I was at a show with a band I love very much, named Queen, and only half the curtain dropped at the beginning of the show, and so stuff happens. But when the roadie gets the torch, it's classic. Now, I did have an instance, and this is real life, when I was standing. I didn't realize this, but bands use pyrotechnics, and they have these little smoke tubes. Little pyro tubes scattered around the stage. And at one point, one show with Queen, I was straddling one of those tubes and didn't realize it.
Oh, no.
And one of the roadies came and grabbed me and moved me about 10 seconds before the fucking, pardon my French, before the thing blew up. And that would not have been a good day for me. But he really literally, figuratively saved my ass.
Oh my God!
So
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah,
story.
it is. In retrospect, it's not even funny. In retrospect, it was scary then. It was scary now because I'm pretty aware of what I'm doing when I'm on stage, even though I'm locked into shooting. And don't try talking to me or making small talk or anything while I'm shooting, because I will not hear you and I will tell you to fuck off.
Right.
But the guy really did save my butt, and funny because Cameron tells a story about the first time we ever met at I think it was a Humble Pie concert in San Diego, and he went to say hi to me, and I was like, "Don't talk to me, little kid, go away," because I was shooting, and I'm locked in, and I can't see what you're showing, but
I'm showing. They want to see a picture of the cat who fell asleep on my head.
Okay. Okay, well, okay then.
Told you, I'm just here typing. You guys,
but the thing with the pyro really did almost hurt me very, very badly, and the roadie saved my ass. So things do happen, but you start to understand when you go on a stage that it's everything in front of the amps is the band's domain. Everything in back of the amps, the rest of the stage is the roadie's domain. And you don't touch anything, you don't look at anything, you don't breathe anything, you don't move anything, you don't hit anything, you don't trip on anything, because you're being tracked by all the roadies, and you'll get thrown off that stage quicker than you could say get off that stage.
Yeah, it just added to the mishaps, and just the funny, like I said, I would love to have just hear those guys brainstorming of like, okay, this is what we're gonna do next. We're gonna have Harry stuck in a pod, and then here comes this is my favorite scene, is when they're at the airport, and Harry Shearer's going through the metal detector.
Yeah.
You got anything in your pockets? He puts out like his change and his keys and stuff like that, and then he takes his jacket off, and then they're doing the metal detector. They're waving it around. They go right across his crotch. And he digs down in his pants, and he literally pulls out a cucumber wrapped in tinfoil. So that type of writing, I mean, and that goes back to our 24 crotch shots per concert joke that we've had earlier. It's just stuff like that is really funny. We go through that, and then we go to that really sad record signing that no one shows up for. Like you literally see them just kind of in the background, just with their hands folded, looking down at the ground. And then, but it's great because we go from comedy with the cucumber to sadness with no fans to another great scene. I just wrote down as the band can't find the fucking stage. Yeah, it's when they're trying to find the stage, going back, and they don't know which way to turn. They end up in the fucking boiler room with one of the maintenance men, and he's telling them, no, you go this way and then turn left and turn right or whatever. And then they're yelling and they're like, all right, let's go. Hello, Cleveland. And then they literally went to a fucking circle because they're back at the maintenance man. And
I've never personally seen that happen, but there is footage of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers doing the same thing. They're like, where's the fucking stage? And they're walking in circles. I've seen that footage.
That's another scene I just had to rewind. It's a good 3-minute long scene, but I'm laughing my butt off the entire time because, again, these three actors are just so excited, and they know that they're like, oh, guys, we're fucked. You know what I mean? We got to play and we can't play, but they're still trying to be pumped. Yeah, they're still trying to pump themselves up. And then here comes, again, we mentioned like we didn't know who was in this movie. Like, now we have a scene with Angelica Houston. And she's the one designing Stonehenge. Because
that's who we couldn't figure out who it was.
Yes, Angelica Houston. Because Nigel wants to have a big gigantic thing of Stonehenge behind them when they play.
Yeah.
And he's writing down on like a napkin and showing how it's built. And of course, his dumbass puts 18 inches instead of 18 feet. And it's just one of those great scenes where she has that model of Stonehenge right there on her coffee table. And she's basically saying, here it is. No, that can't be it. Nope, this is it. This is, this is the specification.
This is what you wanted. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's, again, the deadpan of Christopher Guest cut to...
Well, there's the shot. Yeah, there's the shot. It's a camera's on the right, and it's shooting up. And Michael McKean's on the right side of the frame, and then in the background you see the 18-inch Stonehenge come down from the ceiling.
It's lowering, and I think it gets caught on the strings because it twirls a little bit when it gets to the bottom. And
then the little people are dancing around.
Yes, because this is obviously a concept album. You know what I mean? Because this song has a story, because they have the rock music, and then it suddenly gets slow. And Christopher Guest, Nigel, he's telling the story part of the song. And out come the dwarves, dressed like elves or whatever they're dressed, the stereotypical stuff. And we have the Celtic music playing. And one of them literally trips over the little Stonehenge. And two things popped into my mind. A, I would have hated to be in the band at that time to see that, but I would have loved to be one of the concert goers just to say that they could see this debacle happen. And again, it's something, I was going to say something small and simple, but something simple like that.
Interestingly,
bust me up laughing.
Interestingly enough, come to think of, because I'm thinking about that scene, we just watched it again.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really see, they don't cut to any reaction shots of audience.
Right.
Which is good, because the natural reaction shot would have been either a fan pointing and laughing at it, or a fan going, "Oh my God, what's happening?"
Right.
And Rob Reiner specifically, I'm sure he had those shots available, but I'm sure he always had X amount of cameras on the audience at all times during any of the concert scenes.
Well, I was wondering when they filmed the concert scenes, one, did they well, maybe they didn't really have an audience, or maybe did they just have them come on like as an opening act before a different concert, a different band?
I would imagine they brought in extras to the audience, as we did on Almost Famous. If you're going to be in the band playing, you don't want to be playing to the crew. I'm sure they're all extras, everyone in the audience. So maybe they got $50 a day or $20 a day or something. But the fact that there's no reaction shots from the audience, I really liked, because it kept everything band specific.
And it made these three guys, I mean, they worked they continue to work together, like they were in like things like Best in Show and stuff like that, and they had the sequel that came out. Sadly, it was Rob's last movie because of what happened, but I've heard that the sequel, the follow-up, was actually quite good, and it was still in the same tone, and the guys still had it when it came to the acting. I haven't seen it yet because, like I said, this was the first time I watched this in like 20 years. Did either of you guys see the sequel?
Not yet.
Did you see it?
No.
No.
We never watched it together. I would never.
I haven't seen it. I've saw a lot of still photos in the newspapers, or member newspapers. And they looked frighteningly like a lot of bands do now. Look, how old is Mick Jagger now? 80, 81 or something like that. Make it stop is what I say. With due respect to any of my friends in bands that are still playing again and again and again, I love you all, but at some point, we gotta zip up the luggage and get on the plane or something.
Well, I think it's because their music is the only good music that's left.
Well, touche on that.
Like no one's going to.
Let's see if I can find it. I think I found an image of them all. They're still with the long hair. Oh God, Harry Shearer looks the best. Let's see if it'll pop up. Yeah, that's them.
Oh, jeez.
That's them in the sequel.
Oh my God!
And Harry Shearer still has that mustache, and it's just perfect. That was the best part of his outfit, was that mustache.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Okay, I definitely have to see it. I mean, Michael McKean, I think, is incredible. I don't know. He'll always be Lenny and Squiggy to me, but I know.
Christopher Guest looks like my old English teacher.
I know he's done a lot of stuff, like here, Better Call Saul, and lots of other things. But he's always going to be Lenny and Squiggy.
Yeah, and Harry Shearer, he's big in voiceovers. Like he's Mr. Burns and Smithers of all things on The Simpsons. And that's honestly, I'm not gonna lie, that's where I was introduced to Spinal Tap. Was they in character? They were on an episode. They played a concert for Bart and everything, and of course, disaster happens, and it was just a lot of fun and just hilarious and a fun way of how I was added to introduced to the band, and they're just in character. They had the same voices, obviously the same look, and they were still the same kind of dim-witted but lovable characters that they were in the movie. And eventually, after the the Stonehenge incident, Nigel quits, and then they're forced to they're forced to play at like an Air Force base.
They play in the Air Force Base, and the guy who welcomes them is what's his name?
Fred Willard.
Fred
Yes,
Willard.
Fred Willard. Yep.
It makes fun of their hair, but he tries to be nice, and the great scene. And P.S. When you just flash that picture of the band, the animated shot, the still photo, I realized that Harry Shearer's look is based exactly on John Lord of Deep Purple, the keyboard player.
Yeah.
The mustache. I mean, think about it. It's frightening. Keep using that word, but
isn't this around the time so Janine's character becomes the manager also?
Yes, because their manager quit on them,
right?
Which is a great great scene where he basically just tells her to fuck off, and he just storms out. He was one of my other favorite characters.
Yeah, he's great. He's great when he gets defensive, knows they're fucking up, and he's got to give them bad news. And when he comes in and says, "Oh, I've got a little bit of bad news. Today's show is canceled." Well, that's not a little bit of bad news.
Yeah.
That's some major bad news, but he kind of buries the lead, as they say.
And it's great when they're at the Air Force Base, because I love how someone asked, well, can you guys play some slow music, so they can slow dance? And the song that they play for the slow dance, I wrote down I don't know the actual title, but it sounded like it was called Sex Farm Woman, of all things.
Yeah. Sex Farm.
Yeah. And just the look that everyone at this base gives them. And and you know what? They don't care. They're playing their hearts out. And I that's the charm of this, no matter how bad the things go. Like again, with the scene where Harry Shearer was stuck in the pod. You had St. Hubbins and you had Nigel. They're playing the guitars, but then when they get off mic, and you can see that they're yelling at each other in their ears, but they're still they never let it interrupt them. And then they go, because we're following their decline big time. So now after the Air Force Base, they're at some type of amusement park, and they're second billed under a fucking puppet show. And that's when they know that time's up. It's pretty much done.
I've seen bands scream at each other during a show. Famously, 70, I guess it was 75 Rolling Stones tour. Mick and Keith had it out on stage.
Yeah.
During a song. I will never forget that. Mick Jagger right up to Mick screaming something vile. And they never lost a beat, to finish the song. But it was in Texas. I remember that. And I don't know what prompted it, but I've seen that happen more than once, but specifically with them.
Well, my little takeaway, my little trivia from that was at Great Magic Mountain in LA, where when I was in high school, we competed for the state championship on that stage.
Okay.
I was on the same stage as Spinal Tap. Yeah.
Well, look at that. There, now that's how you've accomplished something, when you've been on the same stage as Spinal Tap.
Right. But a lot of the stuff that happens in this movie reminds me of there's that Canadian band called Anvil. Didn't they have like this documentary a number of years ago?
Was it Anvil or yes, I know who you mean.
It's Anvil, and they they're still plugging away all these years later, trying to make it big, and their music is great, for heavy metal music. It was really good, but a lot of this kind of, now watching this now, because of course at the time this film was made, Anvil was, I don't know, I guess Anvil was touring in the 80s and 90s with all the other big hair bands, but makes me wonder, I wonder if this Spinal Tap was kind of based off of Anvil. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. I know I didn't really talk much in this episode. I knew Eric just had so many questions and you had all the answers. I've just been sitting here typing about cats and dogs.
As a producer does. So no, you did your part. And then I love how the movie ends. I love how the movie ends. They find out that Sex Farm is all over the charts in Japan, because this is one thing I've learned. Japan is usually like 2 decades behind when it comes to popular music. And they finish their tour in Japan, and again, they get a new drummer in Japan because you have to pay attention. Another drummer dies. He dies in an explosion while he's on stage, and we quickly cut to their new drummer playing, and then it just ends with a great little more montage of little bits and pieces thrown in. And this was one of those movies, like I said, it's very quick. There's no lag. I think it's because it's documentary style. It's barely a 90-minute movie, and there were so many bits where I had to just keep rewinding because I was just laughing my ass off. It was so much fun.
The scene where they have the end of tour party, and it's up on the roof of the hotel. That is the roof of the Continental Hyatt House.
Really?
Yep. Also known as the Riot House, but now, of course,
it doesn't exist.
It's the Andes Hotel. But
is that what it's called?
we shot scenes for Almost Famous at the Hyatt House, and it was when we wrapped the night we wrapped the stuff that we shot at the Hyatt House was the last night in history that it actually said Continental Hyatt House on the marquee. And the next morning they closed the hotel, everything came off, and they rebranded it as the Andes or whatever it is. But when I was watching that scene like an hour ago, and I just thought, God, if I had a nickel for every time I was up on that roof at that pool shooting whomever. And I did shoot the band Spinal Tap up there as well. So, but that was actually shot at the Riot House.
Anything you want to say? Anything else, Melissa?
I totally forgot.
I distracted you.
Can't remember anything. Well, I love the smaller appearances of people that are well known today. Like when we were looking at credits, and I didn't realize Dana Carvey was the other mime waiter, along with Billy Crystal.
Mm-hmm. So because you can definitely tell it was Billy Crystal with his voice, but I had no idea until the credits of Dana Carvey.
Yeah, right. Well, we watched it DVD today, and when put the DVD in, before the movie plays, there's here you can choose play, you can choose special features, you can choose to watch the trailer, whatever.
Scene selection.
Anyway, when I put the DVD in, Neil laughing hysterically at the banter they were doing, because clearly they must have, obviously when they filmed this movie, it wasn't on DVD. They had to go back later in time to do the anyway, it's just really funny because you have the band bantering over, because the Spinal Tap, the title appears close, big, and then it goes further and further and further and further away. It's sort of like Star Wars, it goes further and further away. And so they're commenting on how they're just commenting on how they couldn't see the name of the movie, that they had to end up close to the screen to see it. Anyway, so if anyone, I think I'm going to go back and to watch the DVD and see all the other stuff that is included on the DVD that we didn't see in the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I would have loved to hear a commentary.
I just want to say, no kidding. The part at the end where I think Harry Shearer says that was all about the two visionaries of the band, Nigel and David, and that's so real life. And Rob Reiner definitely lightning in a bottle with that, because it's every successful band that I could think of pretty much has the Mick and Keith, Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, um, uh, Nigel Tufnell, David St. Hubbins,
Paul McCartney, John Lennon,
John and Paul, perfect, exactly, and that's it's so real life and so true, and that's part of what Cameron captured in Almost Famous as well. But for Rob Reiner to have caught on to that, I think was really genius, because that's really the thread that ties the whole movie together. Was the conflict between them, yet at the end of the movie, the love. Where he invites Nigel back on stage, and Nigel rips an incredible solo. And that to me, that was real life, for real.
Yeah, this movie to me really was lightning in a bottle, because you had the three leads. Every background character served a purpose, and they were great in it. Again, like you said, Neil, the roadie. It's like kind of an unsung hero in this movie. Even Rob Reiner, because he's on screen, bits and pieces sprinkled out. He's not trying to be the star, but just the way he's talking to these guys, and just he gives this deadpan, like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Look, whether like with the scene where they are the originals, and then they had to be the new originals, and that it's just like this he's just like tilting his head. He's just like, who the fuck are these guys? You know what I mean? These aren't the guys that I saw at the Electric Banana, years ago, and fell in love.
Right, but he wants to do the job.
Yes,
he's gonna get the story of this band, and no, he's fantastic. It was really made me miss him as well watching this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
so
and then, like me and Melissa said, we planned this way before the tragedy happened, and I'm glad that I loved this film, because I didn't want to end it on a sour note. But this is again, I have Stand By Me, and I have Misery, and this is almost like right up there. This is like, if he had a top three, this would be in the top three Rob Reiner movies, because this is just like, he's so lucky. Everybody involved in this film is lucky, because, like I said, he's a fantastic director. The editing is great. The songs are fun, and everyone serves a purpose. And I am glad that we discussed this one, because I would never know, like, I'm going to sit down and watch Spinal Tap. This gave me a reason to, and I loved it.
And to me, if the accents would have been off, it would have killed it.
Yeah.
But the accents were spot. I can't tell you how perfect they were. So it all added to the realistic nature, at least for me in my life. And I know, I've been around a lot of that stuff most of my life, and but it really cuts right to the bone, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
I wonder what bands at the time who were hot shit.
we'll talk about that after.
After
we wrap.
Okay.
One of those situations. All right, we'll get it. Well, I'm already showing my cards. This is where we ended with our favorite scene and our rating. I've already said it was hard to choose. There were so many scenes, but I've already said I think my favorite scene is Harry Shearer and the tinfoil cucumber, getting pulled out of his pants during the metal detector, and but there's so many things I could have picked from the Stonehenge, for him getting stuck in the pot, or just little bits and pieces. But I'm giving this 5 sad mime waiters out of 5. It's a perfect movie, so fun. But like I'm telling anybody watching this, put your phone down, because if you just grab that phone for just 1 second, you're gonna miss something funny.
Miss something.
Yeah.
Right. It
exactly.
was so difficult taking notes, besides the fact that I was being, inundated with in my face, and so. But I I feel like, and you have to be in the right mood. You have to be in the right
Yes.
frame of
Yeah.
mind to watch this,
Mhm.
because I did try showing this to someone that I know here locally in Vermont who didn't grow up with the television,
Mhm.
and he did not get it. He did not get it
It's
at
it's
all.
not it's not a comedy for everyone, because this is we're seeing a lot of his visuals, but this is mainly in the dialogue. And if you don't like dry dialogue
Yeah.
humor, it's not for you.
Yeah.
But for someone who loves it, it was perfect for
Yeah.
me.
It's funny you guys mentioned that, because I tried showing it to a girlfriend of mine. I had a date about a month ago, and I said, I'll show you this movie. And we watched about 10 minutes, and the look on her face was like, what the hell is this garbage? And she did not get it at all.
Mhm.
And I thought, well, good way to end this date. and it did. So you're right, it's not for everybody, but and she's sitting there with a blank look on her face, and I'm like doubled over and with laughter. But it's not for everyone, but the people it's
Yeah,
for, we get it.
Yep.
yeah, same thing happened. I was double over laughing the Stonehenge scene, and he didn't get it at all. But he might not have even understood what Stonehenge was. I don't know. Again,
That's another thing. Yeah.
again, it was a Vermont local. So anyway, well, I was torn between favorite scenes.
Mhm.
I like one we didn't really talk about, where Janine's notes were all in like zodiac signs.
Yes.
And then there's him getting stuck in the pod, which I it, I was laughing. There was a couple of scenes in the movie that gave me flashbacks to when I was a kid watching the Donnie and Marie show. I know.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, God. Ouch.
And they'd have this comedian on all the time, but it was child humor. I was 6 or whatever age I was. Paul Lind, there was this comedian
Oh
called
my God, Paul.
Yep.
Paul Lind on, and he was hysterical. Anyway, so sorry I'm rambling, but
No, you're good.
so that was the type of laughter I had during the pod scene. But
Mhm.
then also the catering scene, where he was just like,
Why don't you fold the bread over? Because then it breaks.
it's funny because I've been at some backstage things like that, and you're trying to make a little tiny sandwich out of the little bread, and the meat hangs out of the bread, and you're like, well, if I wanted meat, I just eat the meat. I don't want to eat a sandwich where the meat's hanging out of the bread. Anyway, whatever. I give the movie 5 cricket bats.
Oh yes, I forgot the scene with the cricket bat. Yeah.
Oh, the cricket bat. Yeah.
And he just uses it to bash windows and TVs when he's got to let out his frustration.
Yeah.
which was fit very well at the hotel that they were filming at.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
How many TVs were tossed out windows at that hotel, Neil?
Oh, probably a dozen or so. The worst I ever did was poured champagne. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm telling this. I poured champagne in the back of a TV to see if it would explode or not.
Oh
And
jeez.
it just fizzled. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I did do that.
Statute of limitations is passed.
Yeah.
You're safe.
But
Neil.
I don't remember where it was. It was probably somewhere like Madison, Wisconsin, or something. But my favorite scene was, and will always be when they open up the box of albums and it's just black. And it couldn't be more black is my favorite line of the whole movie. So I give it 5 black album covers. That scene. Thank you. But and as a photographer, which most people know I am, and I'm always waiting to shoot an album cover, and you can't wait to see how the art directors laid it out, and how's the photo look, and is are the credits correct and everything, and then to open it up and just see nothing is I could feel it. I could almost feel it in my
Because
stomach.
he was so proud when he was so
I
proud when he was
know.
bringing that box to open and show everybody.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I mean, it's a big moment. Your record's here, and it's just black. It was funny and insulting at the same time to me.
It reminds me of the scene in Almost Famous where they bring out the T-shirts.
Yeah, they branded, and as you know, because you've seen it, I have that T-shirt framed, the original T-shirt from the movie with the out of focus guys. I have the actual T-shirt from the movie, not the two backup ones that Wardrobe had in case something got ruined or something. The actual T-shirt, my friend Randy Woodside, was the gaffer, and he stole it off the set at the end of shooting that night. And 20 years I hawked him, I wanted it. And I finally gave it to me, and there's a lipstick stain on the back of it, and there's a mustard stain from Dodger Stadium on the front of it, and I have it framed above my fireplace at home.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. So much for that. But
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's my favorite scene is definitely the Black Album cover.
And what makes that scene, like I said, even funnier, because you had the running joke that their plan for the album cover was just so vulgar and insensitive. So, but even the back, there's no track listing on the back of the album. So that's what made
credits.
It. Yeah, that's what I thought was really funny. Neil, thank you for
anytime
joining us. This is great. So Neil, I've now been taking notes of all of our scores from the show. So Neil has the special, I guess you would say, honor of being on our highest rated episode, a perfect 15, because you know what? If we have a guest, we add their score into it. We have a perfect 15, and then, well, the average of the room when you were here was negative 3.3. So you've been here for the ultimate highs and the ultimate lows of Watch What Now. So thank you for that contribution.
You're welcome. Anytime. My pleasure.
Yeah, he sounds so proud. I just want to say,
I don't remember.
I am proud.
Might have blocked it.
Well, if he was smart, he would have blocked the room out of it. I'm the one that's got to re-edit it and stuff like that. No, it's there and it's stuck in my head whether I want it to be or not. But I'm also glad that This Is Spinal Tap is stuck in my head. I had a blast watching it. I had a blast talking it with you too, and I think I'm gonna go. Wow, you chimed in every once in a while. You did good.
Yeah, this is fun.
And this is making me want to see the sequel. It really is. It makes me want to see the sequel to see what happens with these characters.
We do have a question. We do have a question here. That
Barb is asking.
Neil, is it like Monty Python humor? And Neil, you're a fan of Monty Python.
No, Monty. I would say no. But however, I love Monty Python humor. To me, there's nothing funnier. But it's Monty Python humor is very British, and even though the characters in Spinal Tap are the main characters are British, the humor is different. Monty Python is sillier. I don't even know how to explain it, but a good question though, because you can't beat Monty Python.
Yeah, it's Monty Python. I guess I don't know if you want to say it's more childish than this is. This isn't very like
it's
adult
silly.
humor. Yeah, this isn't very adult humor. But like I said, if I watched this, 20 years ago, I probably wouldn't appreciate the humor of it like I did last night when I watched it. I think it's the humor in this is very, very smart. It's very crisp, but like I said, you got to pay attention to the way they deliver their lines and stuff like that. But it's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it. It's because of this movie. I want to see what's happening with these characters now that they're at that age, and what have they been doing since 1984? You know what I mean?
Probably talking about planning their next tour. If real life is any indication.
That's true. So that's that's episode 11. Lots of fun. Special thanks to Neil for joining us. Thank you to everybody in the chat. In 2 weeks, knock on wood, will be around Valentine's Day, and we decided, I threw the idea out to Melissa that we can get back into horror. And I think it was our first episode, we were talking about our experiences with horror, and Melissa mentioned the original My Bloody Valentine, so we're going to try check that one out. And after that, I believe we're going to do Barb's Request. I have to figure out what that is. I have it in my notes. And then after that, it's March, and I said we'll throw Shelley a bone and do one of his fucking Leprechaun movies just so he'll be happy, because he helps promote the show, and he's a good guy, and I guess it's worth it. But okay. Luckily in 2 weeks we're gonna be doing My Bloody Valentine. But right now, again, this was a blast, and thank you, Neil, for giving us some of your time. I know you had a lot of traveling you did, so I appreciate you sitting
another
here for
day
us
at the office.
All right. So with that, is there anything else you want to say, Melissa, or are we good to go?
Adopt, don't shop. Adopt adopt a shelter pet and save 2 lives.
I second that.
And I third it as well. So I'm Eric. That's Melissa, and Mr. Neil Preston. We'll see you in the next one.